Jenny Castellanos, who's the founder of Novo Review, who are the leading providers of temporary project staff attorneys nationally for single shareholder law firms. Jenny today is going to share with you how to help lawyers get more work or how to help lawyers get more value without having to hire more attorneys. For example, if you have a big project or you need an appellate type filing, why should you go out and have to hire another attorney or pass on a case or slough it off to a peer of yours? Jenny's going to share with you today how she provides these services for you. So welcome to the show today, Jenny.
Thank you for having me on your show, Michael.
I'm
very excited to be here, and I'm really enjoying this process.
Well, thank you very much. All right, so let's start, Jenny, with the idea that lawyers obviously come out of law school. They're very technically proficient in what it is they do. But let's talk about, like, when you get into a situation where you want to grow your firm, you're not sure if you want to hire a lawyer, more staff, if you will, and you run into either taking on a big case or a case that needs an appeal done or something like that. What is it exactly? Where do you fit into that? There is a service for that, and correct me if I'm wrong if you're not the answer to that.
Yes, we are the answer to that, and actually typically we fill into the same position as a senior associate. So instead of a solo practitioner having to constantly try to measure the volume of work that's coming in, or maybe he wants to expand into a new area of law or not turn away work that he might just be overworked on, then they can contact us and we work on a project basis. So one of a good example that you used was the appellate cases. And so a lot of solo practitioners don't have an appellate branch. And we typically work with family law appellate attorneys and trial attorneys as well.
Terrific. Now, so if I understand this correctly, so lawyers watching here today, lawyers, ladies and gentlemen watching here today, Jenny, for example, now, again, I talk about staffing. When you look at, if I were a lawyer and I was looking to pick up a bigger case, or again, the workload was just going to be too much, for example, I could then, instead of having that big problem of trying to hire someone, I would contact you, and what would be the whole process? Help me understand, like, how do I know, as a lawyer, how would they know that you're legitimate? How does that work? What are the controls on that? Because so many small law firms like to have control over everything, which is a subject for another day, but still the fact that you're going to provide for them so they don't get into a situation where they blow a case, get a malpractice claim. Why don't you talk exactly about that, please?
Well, I think that's a problem and something that everybody has to think of in any type of staffing, whether it's on-site, temporary, permanent. You want to make sure that you're getting the right attorney to be working on that project, because ultimately your goal is to provide your client the best quality of work, whether it's you or somebody on your staff that's doing the work. And so what we do is we make sure that everybody that's on part of the Novo review team has been vetted through me and their resume. They usually are former judicial clerks, which means that they have ample knowledge and experience in research and writing. They're usually, that's a very coveted position.
Absolutely.
And so it's like a golden star for being smart. And then we also provide the background, the resume information to the attorney. And when a project comes in, we make sure that the right person is staffed for that particular project.
Terrific. Now, let's say, for example, not understanding exactly how long cases could take, but how long, I mean, if this went on for 6 months or 8 months or 4 months or whatever, they're able to see this project all the way through, correct?
Yes, we typically, once our clients come to us, they think it's going to be one project, but they really benefit from our targeted approach. And so the attorney assigned to the case can continue throughout the history and the life of the case. And we also have a layer of project management, which means that every project has 2 attorneys working together to make sure that we're providing the best quality of work.
You bring up something very interesting. If I'm watching today as a lawyer, I say, what are the controls that are put in place to make sure that the job is getting done? What exactly, is there a reporting period? Do you report to the general managing partner, to the small law firm owner? Why don't you expand upon that, if you would, please, Jenny?
When a project comes in, it goes straight to the lead project attorney. And then that lead project attorney helps the solo practitioner by troubleshooting, coming up with strategy. And then the work is delegated and worked with the senior associate assigned to the case. And then once the senior associate prepares the initial draft, the lead project attorney will review it and then it'll go back to the senior associate. Now, an attorney hearing this might say, oh my God, this is gonna really create more additional billable hours. I'm concerned. But we typically make sure to build that time into the estimated project time. We've never had a complaint from our clients regarding having that be too much. And so, or sometimes we work it into, we discount it depending on what is necessary in the value of work provided.
Terrific. Now, I love that. Now, just so lawyers watching today, so you aren't mistaken, correct me if I'm wrong, Jenny, that this doesn't have to be a one and done deal. This can be an ongoing, every time, for example, an appeal would need to be written, a research would need to be done. They could use you time and time again as an outsourcing type deal versus having to go to all that time, trouble, and expense of lawyers hiring a whole lawyer
Right.
where, they're going to leave you, they don't work out, all the stress and hassle of that, correct?
Right, it's considered sourcing a project or staffing a project. So one example of one of our clients, they come to us every month. He's a property insurance attorney, and anytime the insurance company files a motion for summary judgment against his client, he comes to us because he knows that we can provide a quick, well-supported case law response. Another client uses us for the entirety of the case. So if a complaint, for example, was filed against a commercial tenant case, we will help them draft the answer, the affirmative defenses. If there's multiple parties, we'll help prepare the motions to dismiss, and we talk about strategy for purposes of other dispositive motions. And then one of the other examples that we've been talking about is appellate. So sometimes we come at the end to make sure that your client is happy, and we're a lot more affordable than hiring an appellate attorney outright.
Correct. I like that. Now, how is billing normally done? Is that done on a per hour basis, Jenny? Is that done on a per project basis? Is that negotiable? Sometimes cases have ways of taking on a life of their own.
Right.
How is all that done, please?
It does vary from client to client. I have some clients that really enjoy the flat rate model, and so we sit down and we look at their needs and what we believe is the time that's going to be needed and the level of experience. And other times we do hourly. Actually, that's mostly our common stream. But when we do hourly, I'll sit down with them and I'll say, all right, you're calling about this project, this response, I estimate is going to take 10 hours. We'll call you in the 8-hour mark if we see that it might exceed 10 hours.
Great.
And so they still, like you mentioned, having control, they still have control in that sense to make sure that we're staying within those parameters.
That is outstanding. So again, if I'm watching this as a lawyer today, I'm saying to myself, how now I'm interested. I want to explore this. This makes all the sense in the world to me. How would they contact you? And this information will be at the bottom of the screen. But how would they contact you? Your website address, your phone number, your email address?
Well, for your readers, I'll give my direct dial. It's 786-251-5814. That's 786-251-5814. My email address is Jenny with a G, that's Genny, at denovoreview.com. And did I miss any information,
No,
Michael?
that's absolutely, that's terrific. They've got all the contact information. And is there like a way they can have a consult with you, talk about this? Because again, we're just wetting your whistle here, everyone, today. We don't want to get into the nuts and bolts, nor do we want to put you to sleep. But could they have a consultation with you? Do you have a team? Is it directly with you, some of your team? How does that work?
Well, for people that are watching your show, they
Yes.
can contact me directly, and I will provide them a free consultation for up to an hour. And if they want to check us out, we would also do an hour of legal research for them so they can see our type of product.
That's wonderful.
But they've got to mention Michael.
Yes, but you've got to say the Naked Lawyer TV show, Michael Carroll, otherwise you don't get the discount.
Yeah.
So, well, Jenny, this has been absolutely terrific. I'm impressed beyond belief. A model like yours should exist in every industry. I can't tell you before the show how impressed I am. I'm sitting here like semi-stumbling over my words, but what you do is unique, is revolutionary, and it's a huge value to lawyers, small law firms nationally. Folks watching this today, if you're a lawyer, please explore this with Jenny. Just absolutely an outstanding human being, a great business owner, and great value. So I want to thank you so much for coming on today's show.
Me.
And I'll look forward to doing another show with you in the near future.
I'm going
That's
to hold you to that.
you better believe, and I will fulfill it. Anyway, well, thank you again, Jenny. I'll be back with my final thoughts for today's show.